morning. We're so glad you're here this morning. Welcome to Unity of Modesto. And we're going to start our day with the words that are already up on the overhead. So if you would please stand and join me in singing. I start my day with love. When I start my day with love, that's what I get more of, is love. I start my day with love. When I start my day with love, that's what I get more of, is love. Love, love, love. Love, love, love. Love, love, love. Love, love, love. I start my day with peace. When I start my day with peace, I feel the sweet release of peace. I start my day with peace. When I start my day with peace, I feel the sweet release of peace. Peace, peace, peace. Peace, peace, peace. Peace, peace, peace. Peace, peace, peace. I start my day with joy. When I start my day with joy, everything I do is infused with joy. I start my day with joy. When I start my day with joy, everything I do is infused with joy. Joy, joy, joy. Joy, joy, joy. Joy, joy, joy. Joy, joy, joy. I start my day with love. I start my day with peace. I start my day with joy, and I feel that sweet release. I start my day with love. I start my day with peace. I start my day with joy. Sweet release. It's a blessed day in the morning. The sky is blue, the sun is bright. It's a blessed day and everything's all right. It's a blessed day, can't you feel it? Within your heart, God's love is true. It's a blessed day, you know God lives in you. It's a blessed day, will you share it? Upon your face now wear your smile. It's a blessed day, come walk with God a while. Come walk with God a while. And our next one is I Send My Love, and here comes Carol because she's going to lead us in the motions. I send my love over the mountains. I send my love over the sea. I send my love into the heavens, and it returns to me. I send my peace over the mountains. I send my peace over the sea. I send my peace into the heavens, and it returns to me. Joy. I send my joy over the mountains. I send my joy over the sea. I send my joy into the heavens, and it returns to me. I send my love over the mountains. I send my love over the sea. I send my love into the heavens, and it returns to me. And it returns to me. Thank you, Carol. And we're going to sing the Lord's Prayer next. So if you'd like to join hands with a neighbor. If you're not a hand holder, you do not have to do this. So I know some of you are not wanting to do that. Our Father, which art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our debts as we forgive our debtors. And leave us not in temptation, but deliver us from error. For thine is the kingdom, and the power, and the glory forever. Amen. Thank you so much. You can be seated, and Leah's going to come and do the announcements.
Good morning. Happy February 4th, Super Bowl Sunday, and the first day of our brand new minister joining us. Welcome. Are there any newcomers here for the first time? I see people pointing to people. We have some packets of information about our church and our community for you to take a look at and digest and do what you will, okay? We're going to pass those out to you. Today is like a double celebration. Not only are we celebrating Reverend Cindy. Do you want to be called Reverend Cindy? Okay. I didn't know if you wanted to be called Reverend Farris.
No.
Okay. So we have a cake to celebrate her joining our community, as well as birthday sundaes. It's a big cake, and it has yeah, it's big. So should we do birthday sundaes right now?
Yeah.
Okay, so any of you who have birthdays in February, please come up here. We'd love to see your smiling faces.
I'm the fourth.
She's 4. I'm
22.
28.
You're way down below.
I'm 28 years old today.
We line up.
There we go. 28.
I thought it was great they decided to have the Super Bowl on my birthday.
All right, we have a few announcements. Our greeters team is looking for a few volunteers to greet congregants on Sunday morning as they enter the sanctuary. It's not a very difficult job. Hello, here's your bulletin, and take a seat. So if you're interested in doing that, please, do we have a sign-up sheet, Nancy?
No, but they can always just let me know and I'll put a sticker on and tell them.
There you go. Okay. Love in action. Let's talk about this a little bit, folks. You know, we have Birthday Sunday, the first Sunday of every month. We're looking for those people who would like to volunteer to sponsor a special event once a month. And we always have lots of people to help with that event. So for example, in October, I'm going to do the spaghetti feed, which is a huge event with lots of help needed. And then we have an ice cream sundae one month. We can do a Mother's Day tea, whatever you would like to do. It's not a permanent commitment. You don't have to do it all by yourself, but we really would like to see people sign up, take a month and do a special event. It just helps bring the community together. You can have a hot dog roast, a hamburger day, whatever. I come up with all food ideas because I'm Italian, okay? We think food. So please take a look at the list, the sign-up sheet in the back, and volunteer for one of the months. Preschool prep. We are in the throes of getting ready to start changing out the Sunday school room. And towards the end of this month, we're asking for people to sign up to spend an hour helping us clear things, throw things away, so that when we get started with remodeling and construction, which we hope will be sometimes at the end of March, we'll be prepared for that, okay? Next week is our annual meeting, our general meeting. That's where all of you get to find out where your money goes for the church, how it's spent. You get to hear about all of the subcommittees and what they've done. And this year, two of the board members who are actually going to step off have decided to re-up, and that's Diane Busto and myself. So you get to see our smiling faces again for another 3 years. Oh, you're quite welcome, Miss Margaret. Okay, and I think that's it. Does anyone else have any announcements? Jackie?
I sell the gift cards, and I just want to remind you, Valentine's Day is next week, and if you are having plans to take your Valentine to dinner, please see me after the church service. I'll be in the fellowship hall because I'm having help set up the food. But let me know what restaurants you'd like to have on hand, or gift cards if you want to gift your Valentine with a gift card, so that we make sure we have them next Sunday.
And our script program is probably one of our biggest fundraisers, I think second to the spaghetti feed. But it's all year long, and it helps us with so many things. And as you'll hear in the general meeting next week, script often pays for salaries, for insurance policies, things like that. So when you buy script, which you're going to use for whatever purpose you wish, it benefits our church greatly. Then I have one more thing to say. Carol, have you noticed when you do the little C thing, you look like a hula dancer. I mean, you've got the whole thing going there. It shows. We need to sing that more often, Margaret. There you go. All righty. I'll turn it over to you, Margaret, or to Cindy.
To Gary.
To well, either way, I'm off.
Can you sign up to do something for the month?
Yes.
Is it for the whole month or one?
One event, one special event. We have separate signups.
Some people think that it's all month.
No, it's just one event per month, and
It's not per month.
no, one event for that month.
Yes.
Right,
Yeah.
right. Okay, all right, it's all yours.
Oh, thank you. And our February affirmation is printed at the bottom of the inside page of the bulletin. I think that would be page 1 usually.
And it's up on the board.
Oh, we did put it up there. So together, all together, I am love. My thoughts, words, and actions reveal my loving nature. And for Sunday, February 4th, along with love, I make an active choice to let go and let God. To someone unfamiliar with the phrase, let go, let God, the words may seem to be a spiritual cop-out, a popular slogan used with a shrug of inevitability. It's out of my hands, or I'm resigned to the inevitable. In truth, let go, let God describes an active choice that is always mine to make. I let go of all attempts to make choices based solely on input from my ego mind's sense of personal obligations. It simply isn't true that I must personally find the answer to every question. I let God by choosing instead to trust the indwelling presence that is my true identity, opening my heart to a love-centered guidance and a quiet power. And from Philippians 4 that's a 6. Do not worry about anything, but in prayer and supplication with thanksgiving, let your request be made known to God.
So we're now preparing for meditation. All I need is you, Spirit. All I need is you. You are the source of all I need. All I need is you. All I want is you, Spirit. All I want is you. You are the source of all I need. All I want is you. My only hope is you, Spirit. Only hope is you. You are the source of all I need. My only hope is you. You are the source of all I need. My only hope is you.
I now ask you to turn within. Settle into your seat and remove everything from your lap. And if you're comfortable doing so, please close your eyes and turn within. And breathe. And as you breathe at the top of your breath, just hold it in for a fraction of a second. And then release it. take another deep breath. And this time, breathe deeply into your heart space. Hold the love that you feel there. And then exhale gently. And keep breathing into your heart. As we move into a time where we're going to visualize. And I want you to visualize a bunch of balloons. They can be all one color. They could be multiple color, sparkly, whatever you choose them to be. But notice the color. And they're filled with helium, so they're floating and gently moving with a slight breeze. Breathe, notice, and enjoy your balloons. They're yours. Now notice that each balloon has something written on it. It could be a word. It could be a short phrase. And these words indicate something that you may be resisting. What do your balloons say? Is it about a job? A relationship? A family member? A friend? Your junk drawer? What are you resisting? Pick one balloon. Notice what it says. Bless it and release it. Let it float away and breathe. Choose another balloon. Notice what it says. Bless it and let it go and breathe. Letting go is surrendering to a God that has no boundaries. It no longer serves you. Let it go. Let it go. Let go. And let God handle it. So as we move into the silence, bless your balloons and release those that you're ready to release. And let go into the silence. We can come to the realization that what we hold on to at some point might not serve us any longer. And it is our choice to surrender that to God so that our divinity can shine through in each and every moment. From Corinthians chapter 4, verses 16 through 18. So we do not lose heart. Even though our outer nature is wasting away, our inner nature is being renewed day by day. For this slight momentary affliction is preparing us for an eternal weight of glory beyond all measure. Because we look not at what can be seen, but what cannot be seen. For what can be seen is temporary, but what cannot is eternal. Holy Spirit, we are so very blessed to have this human mind that allows us to think all the thoughts that we think and to do all the things that we do with it. And that has the ability to change it in each and every moment, to let go and to choose again, and to choose again, and to choose again. And for this we are eternally grateful. And together we say, Amen. Good morning. How you doing? Yay! We're here. It's real. I was telling some people I had a really odd dream the other night, and so far it hasn't gone that way, so it's good. So today's talk is Surrender, Dorothy. How many of you like movies?
Yes.
How many of you love The Wizard of Oz? One of my favorite movies. Lots of drama, lots of color, lots of singing, and there's a lot of imagination that comes out in The Wizard of Oz. There's a lot of movies out there that have metaphysical meanings, and I love those. Guardians of the Galaxy 2, if you have not seen it, truly a metaphysical movie. Really, it is. I mean, the main character's name is Ego. Come on. So, in 2000, I started my journey here. And it brought me to this place on this stage in this moment. And what happened was I walked into a church called the Church of Today in Warren, Michigan. It was a very cold place in Michigan. And the spiritual leader there was Marianne Williamson. How many of you know her?
Yes.
Yeah, I know. If you're going to start in Unity, might as well start with somebody really good, right? So Marianne Williamson had been recommended to me by my counselor that I was seeing. And I was going through some stuff, trying to transition from being a Californian to a Michigander, not an easy transition. And he had recommended a book to me called A Return to Love. It is a well-read book, as you can see. And I read it probably every other year. Sometimes there have been 2 years in a row, sometimes more often. But it's kind of a go-to book for me to center myself into who I am and what changes have been happening. And through a series of coincidences, I found out that she was on TV, because back then there was no live streaming, and queer accidents wound up in that church. But I digress. I've been taking classes, it seems like forever. How many of you are eternal students? Yeah. I have my secular degrees. I have a bachelor's and a master's. And was going to do my doctorate, and then life took a turn, and I wound up in spiritual classes. So when I moved back to California from Michigan, I moved to Sacramento and went to Christ Unity Church, which is now Unity of Sacramento. And there was a teacher by the name of Reverend Sheila Gautreaux. How many of you know Sheila? No? You will. She's promised to come. So Reverend Sheila was teaching a class, and I believe it was either Discover the Power Within You or Prayer and Meditation. Not sure which class it was. But she's diminutive. She's only like 5-something, little tiny thing. but she has this steely gaze. And when she looks at you and says something, I defy you to say no. So she looked at me after a couple of classes and she says, take this for credit. And I went, no, you don't understand. I'm only here for the social aspects. I'm just, I was in a new church. It was a good way to get to know new people, right? She looks at me and she got very focused and she said, take it for credit. Yes, ma'am. That's exactly what I said. And I did. And I took the next one for credit, and the next one for credit, and the next one for credit. And at some point, I realized that I was halfway to becoming a licensed Unity teacher. So I did. So when you become a licensed Unity teacher, you take 25 prerequisite classes. I was fast tracking. I was doing 2 and 3 classes every semester. And so I finished in about 5.5 years. And once you finish your prerequisites, then you get to go to Unity Village 4 times. So you start with what they call C1, like the letter C, C2, and C3. Now C1, you are spending most of your time trying to figure out where the heck you are, especially if you've never been to Unity Village, because Unity Village has huge buildings. I know you've all seen photographs of it, right? But what you don't see underneath are tunnels. There's a whole 3 levels below what you see on the surface. And they did that because they have tornadoes back there. And they have weather back there. It gets very cold and it gets very hot in Missouri. So I'm directionally challenged anyway. So trying to find my way through the tunnels was less than successful on some days. I got to see things that nobody's ever seen before because I got lost a lot. So the first day you're there, because you come in on a Sunday, and you sit down and they give you a psychological exam to make sure that you're in your right mind, sort of. And that day, I was sitting in there and a man walked in and then a couple of other people walked in and there were, 12, 15 of us. And I met David and TJ and Lewis. Now, the 4 of us became fast friends, still are today. All of us have ministries. I'm the last one. Go figure, right? I'm the capable one, but I'm the last one to get my own church. Go figure. So TJ's over in Oakland with Agape. David is in Unity of Kennesaw. And Lewis is the events coordinator for Unity Village. And he's at a church in New York. So we became really good friends and we started doing some fun things. The second week we go back is kind of like the chill week. Because you're not a newbie, you kind of know your way around. And you're not graduating, which is intense, because you have to plan your own graduation. So you're just kind of there. You get to attend stuff, and you're studying, and you're going to classes, but you don't have to do anything, right? Well, when you get to meet my friends Dave, TJ, and Lewis, and I'm sure you will understand what I'm about to tell you. The second week we go back, it was Halloween. We are near Kansas. David is the Tin Man. Lewis is the Cowardly Lion. TJ is Scarecrow. I had to fight for that to get Dorothy because he wanted Dorothy. Complete with ruby red slippers, and I don't know if you're aware, but the socks actually in the movie were blue. They were not white. So we went dressed up as the characters from The Wizard of Oz, and we came walking into orientation singing, "We're off to see the wizard," and wreaked havoc throughout Unity Village. That's right outside of Charles Fillmore's chapel. Pretty good, huh? That is a wig, just so you know. But yeah, we constructed the costumes and everything. The third week that you're there, you're given a topic for your skills demonstration, which is your fourth week. I got, how do I practice non-resistance? I have to be honest. My first thought was, I do not. I don't. I have muscled my way through life, trying to make it my way. I would rather be right than happy sometimes. So I said, it's like, maybe you could give me forgiveness. I'd been doing radical forgiveness for about 6 years then. I had that down. I knew how to do that one. Oh no, you don't get to trade. You don't get to do it. Because truthfully, it's divinely appointed. So non-resistance is kind of what I got. But I looked at, it's like, where do I go with this? All I can think of is Gandhi, right? It's like, well, so I look up non-resistance in the dictionary, and I found a synonym, which is surrender. Well, surrender, I resonate with that word a little more than non-resistance. Not much, but a little. And so what does surrender mean? Marianne Williamson's book. I had read it for the first time in, 2004 was the first time I read this book, or at least the first time I noted that I did it. And I was discussing the book with somebody, and she said, don't you just love the chapter on surrender? And I went, there's no chapter on surrender in that book. She says, yeah, there is. And I went, no, there's not. I've read it like 4 times. Chapter 4, surrender. Do you think I wasn't quite ready to look at it? So one definition of surrender is to give up some influence, source, or emotion. I have to tell you, my reactions on most situations is not surrender, although I'm getting better at it because I had to do this whole study on surrender and non-resistance. I know what I want. I've always been the kind of person that I know what I want, I know how to get it, and I'm going to go do it. Surrendering to somebody else's wishes or anything else like that is just not my default. I had to fight my way through childhood. So there was not going to be any surrender, besides the fact I'm a Virgo. And I'm an oldest child. So by birthright, I know what's best for everybody. Certainly my brother, who's younger than I am, a lot of times for my friends, absolutely for my ex-husband, please note ex. So it was just not in my DNA, I don't think. So to work with non-resistance and surrender was challenging to me. But what I also know is that when life keeps smacking you up against the head, at some point you have to say, all right already, I'm done. I give up. I surrender. Because when we surrender, even the little things become a lot easier. The hard stuff settles down a little bit. And the truth of who we are comes out. And it's only a little willingness to let go and let God that creates this opportunity for immense growth. Surrender. There's also this synchronicity that happens, this ease and grace that shows up when you're willing to step back and say, not my will, but thine. Not my will. I've gone through life trying to get God to do what I want him to do. And how has that worked? Not so much. The saying that we make plans and God laughs is so true for me. I can plan things out, but I know that ease and grace shows up when I surrender it. So, the characters in The Wizard of Oz, each of them was out there looking for something. The Tin Man was looking for a heart. The Scarecrow was looking for brains. The Cowardly Lion was looking for some courage. And Dorothy was looking to go home. Now, it's interesting that I know these three men very, very well. We were all perfectly cast. Absolutely perfectly. And I won't go into the details of their stories because those are theirs. But for me, I was looking for a home within, feeling at home in my skin. How many of you sometimes just don't feel like you're right where you're supposed to be? Something's a little off, you're out of balance. How many of you feel that way, sometimes or all the time? Yeah, so every time we have a transition, that kind of stuff will come up. And so I was looking for a home. I'd been moving around. I had gotten divorced, and my kids had stayed with their dad because they were his biological children and not mine. So I was looking to find that peace that I knew had to be there. And the only way I knew how to do that was to surrender it. I had to let go of what I thought it was going to look like. The Course in Miracles has a prayer in there, and I'm paraphrasing. It says, "Dear God, what will you have me do? What will you have me say, and to whom?" And it was probably one of the most profound things I ever heard. And Marianne Williamson used to say it all the time, and Reverend Sheila still does. As she was praying with me last night, trust me, the prayer came up. We know that Jesus taught us that we are divine by nature, and that our divine nature is nothing but love. Nothing but love. So in each and every moment, we can shift our perception of what's going on by asking one question. Am I in fear or am I in love? And if I am in fear, I can choose again. And I can choose again. And I can choose again. Until I am restored to my divine nature of love. Because that is all there is. Everything else is just how to get there. It's going to get over here. So, Jesus taught it, and our unity principles reaffirm it. They reaffirm that we are divine. And the best way to show our divinity is to demonstrate it. And it's simple. It might be the little smile in the long line at the grocery store, especially that express lane that's not expressing. But just smiling at the clerk or at the people who are in line with you can change somebody else's world in immeasurable ways. We don't have to be global activists. We can just be kind to each other. That's all it takes. Non-resistance. Surrender. How do we do that? How do we change and move into that space where things flow much easier? And it's perception. And changing our perception about what we're seeing out there. Because truthfully, what is out there isn't real anyway. If all of you stood up here with me, we would each see something different, would we not? Because we each have different perceptions about what we see based on our experience. So when we surrender, it looks one way for me and another way for you. I have a dog who got a diagnosis. He doesn't know it. So he surrendered to being happy. And I'm the one that's freaking out, and he's just a happy boy. I need to be more like my golden retriever, apparently, and be happy about it. So in the Wizard of Oz in the movie, there's a scene where the Wicked Witch writes across the sky, "Surrender, Dorothy." Could it be that the Wicked Witch knew something that the rest of them did not? That the rest of us do not? I look at the attributes of my friends here, and it's profound to see them then and now, because that was about 7, 8 years ago. We all had to surrender. We all have to practice some non-resistance. But as these characters in the movie kept moving along, the Wicked Witch came in and thwarted them at every turn. And they rose to the occasion each and every time and came out on the winning end of it. Just a shift of perception. And yet, they still were seeking. So, Reverend Sheila is looking at me with these steely, dark brown eyes of hers and saying, "Take it for credit." And it changed my world. In that moment, I surrendered to a power that was greater than me, that she saw in me that I didn't even know existed. I never dreamed that that moment would lead me to ministry. I thought I was just going to be a LUT forever. I had no clue in that moment. So the characters finally get to meet Oz, the wizard. And he presents each of them with a talisman to prove what they already had. So the Scarecrow got a diploma to prove that he had brains. And the Tin Man received a heart that even ticked. And the Cowardly Lion, well, he got a medal to prove that he was courageous and brave. But what about Dorothy? What did Dorothy get? Well, the lines from the end of the movie say it all. As Glinda is talking with Dorothy. And Dorothy says, "Oh, will you help me? Can you help me?" And Glinda says, "You don't need to be helped any longer. You've always had the power to go back to Kansas." And Dorothy says, "I have?" And the Scarecrow says, "Then why didn't you tell her before?" And Glinda says, "Because she wouldn't have believed me. She had to learn it for herself." The Tin Man says, "What have you learned, Dorothy?" And Dorothy says, "Well, I think that it wasn't enough just to want to see Uncle Henry and Auntie Em. And it's that if I ever go looking for my heart's desire again, I won't look any further than my own backyard. Because if it isn't there, I never really lost it to begin with. Is that right?" And Glinda says, "That's all it is. Now close your eyes and tap your heels together 3 times. There's no place like home." Thank you.
Of course. Somewhere over the rainbow way once in a lullaby. Somewhere over the rainbow, skies are blue, and the dreams that you dare to dream really do come true. Someday I'll wish upon a star and wake up where the clouds are far behind me, where troubles melt like lemon drops away above the chimney tops. That's where you'll find me. Somewhere over the rainbow, bluebirds fly. Birds fly over the rainbow. Why then, oh, why can't I? Somewhere over the rainbow, way up high, there's a land that I heard of once in a lullaby. Somewhere over the rainbow, skies are blue, and the dreams that you dare to dream really do come true. Someday I'll wish upon a star and wake up where the clouds are far behind me, where troubles melt like lemon drops away above the chimney tops. That's where you'll find me. Somewhere over the rainbow, bluebirds fly. Birds fly over the rainbow. Why then, oh, why can't I? If happy little bluebirds fly upon the rainbow, why can't I?
So we have some new members today. And so could I have Lorraine, Jerry Frad, Rick, and Daniel up on the stage, please. Oh, yeah. Yes, you do. Absolutely. So, where two or three are gathered together in my name, there I am in the midst of them. That's Matthew chapter 18, verse 20. So for Unity membership, I'm going to have you stand over here so I can see you and read at the same time. So for Unity membership, there are no requirements other than a desire to know God and to understand, love, and obey His laws of being. Unity offers no prescribed creed or doctrine other than to seek the truth and to follow only the commandments that Jesus gave us. Thou shalt love the Lord thy God with all thy heart, and to love thy neighbor as thyself. Unity Church of Modesto has been in existence for 87 years, supported and supporting each of its members. Today, you have chosen to become a part of that history and a participant in creating and cementing its future. Our Unity principles are here to guide and direct you. We know and affirm that there is only one presence and one God in my life, God the good. We know and affirm that our essence is of God, therefore we are inherently good. We know and affirm that we are co-creators with God, creating through our thoughts. We know and affirm that through prayer and meditation, we align our heart and mind with the oneness of God. And we know and affirm that our faith is demonstrated through our thoughts, words, and actions as we live the truth of our being. So, Lorraine. Lorraine Cardoza, as minister of Unity Church of Modesto, it is my privilege, on the behalf of membership, to receive you into the full and active membership of this church, extending to you the right hand of fellowship. May God bless you. That's for you. Jerry? Jerry. As minister of Unity Church of Modesto, it is my privilege on behalf of its membership to receive you into the full and active membership of this church, extending to you the right hand of fellowship. May God bless you. Daniel or Rick? Daniel? Okay. Daniel Crowley, as minister of Unity Church of Modesto, it is my privilege on behalf of its membership to receive you into the full and active membership of this church, extending to you the right hand of fellowship. May God bless you. I would like you to repeat after me. I am here only to be truly helpful.
I am here only to be truly helpful.
I am here to represent God who sent me.
I am here to represent God who sent me.
I am content to be wherever God wishes.
I am content to be wherever God wishes.
Knowing God goes with me.
Knowing God goes with me.
I will be of service.
I will be of service.
As God teach me to serve.
As God teach me to serve.
Congregation, would you please stand and join me in blessing our newest members? Breathe into our newest members the breath of life. Inspire and renew them. Breathe into each of them illumination so they may let their lights shine. Breathe into each of them your divine guidance so they may be guided to uplift others. Revitalize them and strengthen their resolve. Fill them with your loving presence and grant them grace today and forevermore. We pray this with and for them, knowing that it cannot be otherwise. And together we say, Amen, and so it is. Welcome.
Thank you very much.
Our new members. Richard, will you bring the prayer box forward, please?
These prayers are prayed for about a month here, and then they're sent on to Unity Village and prayed for another month there. So a lot of people are praying for everybody that's in this box. They get a lot of healing energy. So, Divine Mother, Heavenly Father, these prayers are but a window through which your love flows into our lives. Just as you are love, we are love. we are the full expression of your love. Peace. Amen.
It's now time to take our love offering into our hands and pray over it with our prayer. Divine love, through me, blesses and multiplies all that I am, all that I have, and all that I receive, and all that I receive.
Please join me in singing, I Am So Blessed. I am so blessed, I am so blessed, I am so grateful for all that I have. I am so blessed, I am so blessed, I am so grateful, I am so blessed. I am so blessed, I am so blessed, I am so grateful for all that I have. I am so blessed, I am so blessed, I am so grateful, I am so blessed. I am so blessed, I am so blessed, I am so grateful for all that I have. I am so blessed, I am so blessed, I am so grateful, I am so blessed.
We breathe in these gifts. We are so grateful for all of us at Unity Church of Modesto, for all of the gifts that we offer, our time, our talent, and our treasure, knowing that it is rolled up and blessed and spreads out through the community at large and into our world. We give thanks, and we send this on its way to bless those around us, knowing the blessings come back to us 100-fold or more. I'm so grateful. And together we say, Amen, and so it is. Thank you. And would you recite with me our prayer for protection? The light of God surrounds us. The love of God enfolds us. The power of God protects us. And the presence of God watches over us. Wherever we are, God is, and all is well. And would you stand and form a circle, and we'll sing our peace song.
Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me. Let there be peace on earth, the peace that was meant to be. With God as creator, family all are we. Let us walk with each other in perfect harmony. Let peace begin with me. Let this be the moment now. With every step I take, let this be my joyous vow. To take each moment and live each moment in peace eternally. Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me.
May you all have a blessed week.
900